Here on the bench in front of me, I've got a bucket of water. Well, this is an old vase I've got for water, but you'll need some water to hand in a bucket that you've cleaned out. So I've swished this out with a drop of bleach and a brush just to make sure the container's really clean. And I'm going to cut my flowers and just put them in the bucket of clean water ready for when I'm going to use them. So you need to have that ready to one hand. I've also been around my garden and pick some extra greenery and some spring flowers. So I'm filming this in April at the moment. And although the garden doesn't have much in it, I think it will have enough to supplement the flowers that I've bought from the market. And the flowers I've bought from our local street market have gone for shades of pink. So we've got ranunculus in there and also tulips as well. But I'm going to make a start with my garden flowers and show you how I prepare those to make my flower arrangement. When you're using flowers and greenery from your garden, once you've picked them, you need to get them into water as soon as you can, particularly on a warm day. And if you are picking straight from your garden, I would suggest you do that first thing in the morning or in the cool of the evening, so your flowers aren't going to wilt. And I've cut my flowers, this is forget-me-not, and tried to go into the bush to get as long a stem as possible. So this stem is probably about 20 or 25 centimetres long. And what I'm going to do is to take off the lower leaves so that when it's standing in my bucket of water, the leaves aren't going to be underwater, and I'm going to recut the stems at an angle. So I take the scissors and do a diagonal cut, and you can see there that it's almost as if the flower can stand on tiptoes and it won't be standing flat-footed at the bottom of the vase. So that will just go into the container. So at this moment, I'm not arranging the flowers, I'm merely preparing them. I'm going through them. At this stage, I'll be looking through the flower head to make sure everything looked really good. And if there were any particularly, torn or damaged leaves or petals, I would discard those. So into the bucket they go. You can do this really carefully and pick off the leaves individually, or just it's quicker to sort of go all the way down in one move. But you just need to be that right degree of firmness to get the job done, but not so rushed that you're damaging the flowers as you go. So cutting each one, so it's quite a methodical thing to do. And I like to just go through. I've got here my forget-me-nots. I go do all my forget-me-nots at one go, and then I'll move on to the next flower. And you're really taking the opportunity to see what you've got that you can use and get the most out of your flowers. It's not just about having a beautiful arrangement, it's about the point at which you get to the arrangement as well. So it's the whole journey of your flowers, if you like, from when you're choosing them to taking time to sort of get to know them on your workbench, and then enjoying the arrangement afterwards. And the same thing with this flower. This is a perpetual wallflower, and I've just taken off all the sort of knobbly old seed heads on the side because I don't want those getting into my water, because they will make the water go a bit green and attract bacteria and will shorten the life of my flowers. So we methodically work through these, so putting away all those seed heads left in my hand there, discarding those, so I'll put those on the compost heap later, taking my scissors, doing a diagonal cut, so we've got this lovely point here, and then putting that into the bucket. And then as it is April, I've got some lovely, I say it's a whole load of spring flowers, but these absolutely beautiful native English geraniums. So it's not the garish reds of the pelargoniums. And I've cut these because I like the buds on them. And also you can see there's some colour where the flowers are starting to come out. But I thought they'd be quite good to use as greenery as well, because the flowers I've bought from my market, my ranunculus and my tulips, don't have much greenery attached. And what I can do there, instead of cutting them individually, they've got no side shoots I need to take off. I can bundle them together and just cut through in one go. So they've all got the slanted cut, so they'll stand up on tiptoes on the bottom of the vase. And as you put them in the vase, you just need to make sure, the bucket of water, that they are actually, you're slipping them down into the water and you haven't got some hanging up out of the water. Otherwise they will just die off and you'll wonder what's been happening. Now I have picked some greenery. some foliage here, and this is choisia, and again you've got the buds coming out because it's April time, and you've got the leaf head here. It's quite a nice rosette form, which is quite a nice shape to use. The only thing is I'm just slightly concerned it's going to overwhelm my vase if these leaves are quite straggly. So as I take off the side leaves and sort of rub them away with my hand, recut the stem, when I actually come to use this, number one, I might not use it, but secondly, I might decide to pinch out some of those larger leaves so that it doesn't overwhelm what else is in the vase. So you can just do that pinching out between your thumb and your forefinger, and you can see where I've taken them away here, it's making this central area much more compact, and these two look a bit ungainly in comparison, but I'll keep those on because I don't quite know whether I'm going to use it or not for this project or for something else. You might have lots of this in your garden if you're a gardener. It's conifer. This has got a decorative conifer, like a lime green colour. Now I know that because I'm going to be using long straight stems in this particular arrangement, that I actually need to get rid of everything there. It's a lovely bushy bit of greenery, which would be lovely in a conventional flower arrangement made in flower foam, for instance, because you'd need lots of little bushy pieces. But for this arrangement, I don't want anything to be in the water. I'm trying to keep all these lovely green stems, lovely straight stems I should say, that can be seen through the glass vase. So actually I'm going to go through and trim off all those side shoots and then recut the stem as well, and what I'm left with is a tufty bit of greenery where just the top bit will show, and it may be that even that might be too large, and again I'll have to just adjust that when I come and look at my arrangement. But if nothing else, make sure you recut your stem, take off any bits of green that will lie below the waterline of the bucket that you're just letting your flowers drink in. And my last bits of greenery are, this is a spirea called Bridal Bouquet, and you can see the tiny little flower heads here. Now I've picked this, and again I'm not sure whether I'm going to use it, and the problem again of picking from your garden earlier in the year, that you may find that your flowers, the greenery hasn't hardened up enough. It's still too immature. It hasn't, the leaves aren't very robust, and although it looks really pretty and the leaves are really lovely and it's all very dainty and gorgeous, it may well be that it just doesn't hold up in water. So I'll give it a go, and like much of flower arranging, it's trial and error. You'll get to work out what works in your garden and what doesn't, and if it doesn't work, well, you'll perhaps leave the greenery on the bush for another couple of weeks and try again later. So just don't harvest too much of your green all at once, because once of course you've picked it off the bush, it's not going to, it's going to take a while to grow back. So I've just chosen 4 stems there to see whether it'll hold up in my arrangement, and if it doesn't, I'll just put it straight on the compost heap and either pick something more robust or add a few more flowers in.